Hey there, and welcome. Ever had that moment where you just need to get your thoughts from the screen onto a real physical piece of paper? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to break down the basics of creating, editing, and printing documents in Windows. Let's jump right in. So here's the plan. We'll start by looking at the editing tools that Windows gives you right out of the box. Then we'll dive into some pro editing skills, figure out how to save and print your work, get a handle on managing your printers, and finally, take control of the print queue. It's the whole journey, from your first typed word to that finished page. First up, let's talk about where you'll actually do all your typing. Windows is super helpful because it comes with a couple of text editors already built in. The trick is just knowing which one to pick for the job you're trying to do. Okay, so you've got two main choices here, Notepad and WordPad. Think of Notepad as your digital sticky note. It's perfect for jotting down quick, simple text with zero formatting. But WordPad, that's more like a mini word processor. It lets you get a little fancy with bold text, different fonts, and tabs. So it's way better for things like simple letters or short documents. All right, you've picked your tool. Now for the fun part, actually working with the text. And the best thing about these commands is that you'll use them everywhere, in pretty much any program you ever type in. They're universal skills. Getting started is honestly as easy as it sounds. You just click your mouse anywhere in that big blank space. That's your work area, and just start typing. When you want to jump down to a new line or start a new paragraph, all you do is hit the Enter key. That's it. Now, let's talk about a real game changer. Copy and paste. First, you just highlight the text you want to make a copy of. Then you use the magic keyboard shortcut. Hold down Control and press C. That copies it. Then just click where you want the text to go and hit Control+V to paste it. Bam! You've just created a perfect clone of your text. So what if you don't want to duplicate the text, but you actually want to move it somewhere else? That's where Cut comes in. The process is almost exactly the same. You select your text, but this time the shortcut is Control+X. Here's the key difference. Cut literally removes the text from its original spot, while Copy leaves it there. But for both, you still use Control+V to paste it into its new home. So you've written something amazing, and now you have to make sure you don't lose it, right? This next part is all about saving your file, and then, the exciting part, turning it from pixels on a screen into a real page you can hold. To save your masterpiece, you're pretty much always going to go to the File menu, usually in the top left corner, and choose Save As. This will pop open a window where you can give your file a name, make it something you'll remember, and then pick the folder you want to keep it in so you can find it later. Now, WordPad is pretty cool because it gives you a few different ways to save your file. RTF is the default, and that'll keep all your bolding and font choices intact. But say you need to send this to someone using open source software like LibreOffice, well, then you'd pick ODT. And if it's going to someone with a modern version of Microsoft Word, DOCX is definitely the way to go. Once everything is saved, printing is just a click away. You just head right back to that same File menu and select Print. A little box will pop up, and in there you can tweak things like maybe you need 3 copies instead of 1, or you can just hit the button and send it straight to your printer. Okay, so you've clicked Print, but where does your document actually go? This is where we shift from the software side of things to the hardware. Let's take a look at how Windows actually talks to the physical printers you have hooked up. So your computer needs to have a favorite, a go-to printer. We call that the default printer. It's the one that automatically gets the print job, unless you tell it otherwise. And you can either let Windows be smart and manages for you, or you can jump into the settings yourself and pick your favorite. Just get a new printer? Awesome! Setting it up is actually a breeze. First, you just physically plug it into your computer, probably with a USB cable. Then, you head into your computer's settings, find the Printers and Scanners section, and click Add a Printer. Windows will then pop up a little guide to walk you right through the rest. And what about that old printer you don't use anymore? Getting rid of it is just as easy. You just need to find the old school control panel, go to Devices and Printers, find the one you want to ditch, right-click on it, and choose Remove Device. Nice and tidy. Here's a fantastic pro tip for you. If you're ever not sure if your printer is connected and working right, just print a test page. You can usually find this option in the printer's properties. It is absolutely the fastest way to know for sure that everything is talking to each other and ready to go. All right, we're at our final section. Let's pull back the curtain on what happens in that little moment after you click print, but before the paper actually starts coming out. This is where you can actually manage your print jobs as they're happening. So what in the world is a print queue? Well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a waiting line for your documents. If you try to print 3 things at once, they don't all come out at the same time. They get in line, in the queue, and print one after another. So how do you even know if something is printing? Windows gives you this little clue. Just glance down at the bottom right corner of your screen, in that notification area. A tiny little printer icon will pop up, just to let you know a job is in progress. Have you ever hit print and then immediately thought, oh no, I made a mistake? We've all been there. No worries. Just click on that little printer icon we just talked about. That'll open up the print queue window, and from there, you can click on the document and either pause the job or cancel it completely. It's a real paper and ink saver. And that's it. We've gone all the way from a blank screen to a finished page you can actually hold in your hand. You now have all the essential tools to take your digital ideas and bring them into the real world. So the only question is, what are you going to print first?
Congratulations on completing the module. Continue learning with Salyvan Academy.